Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Card Man's Cards. I am the Card Man. We're gonna be just doing some combos for Ancient Gear, as I just did the Ancient Gear deck profile, at least for this variety. As I mentioned in that video, there will be an update to this here in a few months when the new, not the next set, but the set after it, like Absolute Destruction, not Phantom Nightmare, comes out, giving us new support for these very old machines. But for the time being, I'm going to go over some combos that you can play now with these guys, if you want to pick them up before the new support comes out, so they don't necessarily rise in price. Other than that, just if you don't want to... It's not that you don't, but if you... No. I'm just going to shush, just watch. Just watch the video. Be helpful. Watch. Do that thing. Yay. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I'm going to go over some combos for the deck, as I did mention. But yeah. So other than that, hopefully you guys have been going well. I know I just said a very specific word, and if you know where that's from, you should know exactly where I'm from. If it wasn't obvious enough, it actually probably isn't. But we will see. Okay. I'm gonna do like 2 to 3 kind of combo lines-esque, because this deck is very combo heavy, so depending on what your opening hand is, it varies a lot of what the deck can do. But I'm gonna go over some generic stuff that the deck tends to do. But then I'm gonna do at least 1, maybe 2, just off the top of the deck hands. So let me grab a couple cards just to felicitate combo. Ancient Gear, sorry, not Ancient Gear, Gear Town, Ancient Gear Catapult, and then basically any other card will do you, because you're going to need a couple cards to discard. We'll grab Terraforming for reasons. For right now, most of the combos are kind of like 2-card combos due to the fact of how the deck plays, but they do get better with the new support, which is very good. But yeah, so most of the time, most of your combos play out the same. You activate Gear Town, which allows your field allows you to normal summon your Ancient Gear monsters with 1 less tribute. And then you want to activate Catapult, target your Gear Town, popping the Gear Town, and then summoning Catapult allow you to summon, and then Gear Town will activate, allow you to summon 1 from a hand from your deck, deck, or grave. So you're gonna get 2 summons off of this. You're gonna summon a Catapult, 1 off a Catapult, ignoring summon conditions, and you're going to summon 1 off of Gear Town. So what you want to do is summon an Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound, your choice. They're relatively the same. We're going to go with Ultimate Pound just because he's not talked about a whole lot. And then we're going to summon Ancient Gear Wyvern off of the effect of Gear Town. Wyvern's going to trigger, allowing us to add an Ancient Gear card. So we can add... We're going to add Ancient Gear Box. Box effects will trigger, allow us to add another Earth Machine monster with 500 attack and defense, which Frame has 500 defense, so we can add Frame to hand. We still haven't normal summoned yet, so we can normal summon the Frame. So normal summon Frame. Move some of this stuff out of the way. Normal summon Frame. Frame effect. Not detach. Discard a card to add a spell or trap that lists Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound as material. So you can discard the box or another card if you hand. If you were this truly to be a 2-card combo, you can definitely pick the discard the box to add. So then you're going to add your spell, your Ancient Gear Fusion, because it lists Ancient Gear Ultimate Pound or Ancient Gear in the material. Get a good shuffle. So now we have Ancient Gear Fusion. Not sure if you can see it. And we're going to link Ancient Gear Wyvern and Ancient Gear Frame together to go into Ancient Gear Ballista. The Ballista on someone's going to add an Ancient Gear monster or another Gear Town. So we're going to activate, we're going to place another Gear Town. Now, we're going to treat this as if our opponent has a monster we can target due to the fact that the deck likes to play with a monster your opponent with a card your opponent controls just to have their effects trigger. So we're going to use the effect of effect of Ballista, target the Gear Town, drive our opponent's monster to 0, pop the second Gear Town, and Gear Town's going to trigger, again, giving us another summon from hand, deck, or grave, ignoring the summoning conditions. In this case, I would go into a Reactor Dragon just to get another big body on the field, because another Hunting Hound wouldn't be good right now due to the fact that you necessarily don't need it, and it's also not needed for another body, so that's fine for right now. If you had Hunting Hound, you could easily poly into a Howitzer if you wanted to, so that's another thing you could do in something like this, just poly these two together to make a Howitzer, if you so chose. Give you some bit of a Towers monster. But again, that's a difference depending on what you wanted to do. But now we're going to activate your Poly card, your Ancient Gear Fusion, targeting the Ultimate Pound you control, and then you can also use materials from the deck in this case. So we're going to send an Ancient Gear Golem. And then we're going to send another Ancient Gear Ultimate Pound, using this other one as material, to Fusion Summon into a Megaton. Now, if you want to go into battle, this would be plenty of game. I like how I decided to grab an extra card when I didn't need it. Go me. Sometimes this is helpful. But yeah, since you used Ancient Gear Golem, Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound as material, it can attack up to the number of times. Hold on, let me reread this. Yes, it can attack up to the number of times of Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear monsters. Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound used. I used all 3, so he has 3 attacks of 33. So technically this alone kills your opponent, but not necessarily needed, as these alone can kill. If you wanted to, you could switch this out for... I'm getting stuff all over these. For a Hunting Hound. Hunting Hound's first effect won't trigger due to the fact it wasn't normal summoned. But if you use the second effect to poly your Ballista in itself into Howitzer, which can burn for another 1,000, and if it's destroyed, you can summon another monster off of it, so you could easily burn, destroy itself, go into the other one to get a guaranteed 1,000 damage. You don't have to, but I will say this deck loves to dump a bunch of names in grave. That's why the Overload Fusion is helpful. But that's just one line. There are others. I'm not really sure what other lines to show, because this deck, I will say, this deck likes to kind of play by its own rules, depending on what you open. Because say, for example, I'm just going to put these off to the side. Instead of opening Gear Town, say you open a Catapult. Catapult's your main starter right now, just due to the fact of how good it is, because it can pop most of the other stuff. That and Fortress, you still basically get the same plays out of it. You still get the same free monsters, especially if you open other monsters, you can do more. Because Catapult allows you to summon from your hand or grave, so this isn't as good as a pop as Gear Town is, because Gear Town just allows you to summon directly from the deck. So this is necessarily not as good, but say you have an Ancient Gear monster. Oh, that's a fusion. Another fusion. Yeah, okay. Say we have a Howitzer, you can special summon not Howitzer, Hound. That's Hound, not Howitzer. So yeah, I'm just going to do a couple test hands now, just for the fact that There's not really many combo lines right now you can do with the deck due to the fact that it's very one note. It's just some of the bunch of big fusions that can hit several times. Or all monsters. If you open the way to get all Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. But yeah. So I'm gonna probably do at least 2 just so this deck has a bit more of an explanation to it. So, we're going second, and our opponent has at least 1 monster on their field. They could have several, but at least 1, just due to the fact of Ballista wants a monster on the field to do stuff. If you want to treat it as going first, that's what I'll do. I'll do the second one as going first. Just they do have a bit of a hard time thinking of interruption, so it's a very going second deck, not very going first. But we'll do both just for the sake of consistency. So additional card for going second. And let's see. Hopefully we didn't just get a terrible hand. We kind of did. But not necessarily a bad one, because now we can use Monster Gate, tribute the Ancient Gear Reactor Egg when you have it in hand, and our opponent, say, calls level, I don't know, 4. We'll just say call 4. Wyvern, perfect. And then we can special summon this card, and then send. So special summon the Wyvern off the Monster Gate. Wyvern effect will trigger, allowing us to add an Ancient Gear card, and then we're gonna add Box. Box effect allows us to add another Ancient Gear, an Earth Machine monster with 500 attack or defense. So we will add Frame as it's the best overall target. I used to run the Ancient Gear gadget in this for the Frame, but it's overall worse. So add these 2. Then normal summon the Frame. Effect to discard a card, since we already control an Ancient Gear. Since we already have an Ancient Gear Golem in our hand, we can discard the box to add. It isn't just a card that lists Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound from its text, which unfortunately right now is not a lot. I do believe that's mainly Fusion. I think it's just Fusion. Yeah, so it basically allows you to add Fusion for the time being. It will allow you to add more cards in the future, because a lot of them lists Ancient Gear Golem as material. So, you can add a second Fusion, I guess. I might do 3 in this video, but we will see. So, add your Ancient Gear Fusion. Then we're going to use the effect of Foolish Burial Goods to send a Catapult to the grave. And then we're going to use Ancient Gear Fusion using the Ancient Gear Golem I have in my hand as material. I do believe I don't think I control this one, so I technically have to use hand or field. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I'll worry about that later. Send that off of Foolish Burial Goods. Link these 2 into Ancient Gear Ballista. Ballista effect, allowing me to place Gear Town. And I'm going to use the effect of Catapult to banish itself, target my Gear Town, blow it up, to summon a token, which are right here. And then Gear Town is going to trigger, allowing me to summon an Ancient Gear monster from my hand, deck, or grave. So, I'm going to summon one from the deck. Excuse me. We'll summon a Hunting Hound. Alright. Now we're going to use the effect of Hunting Hound, fusion summoning these two to make a Howitzer. And then I will use Ancient Gear Fusion to poly the Ballista and the Ultimate Pound into a second Howitzer. And then we're going to use the Overload Fusion to banish the Hunting Hound, the Ballista, Frame, Wyvern, banishing the 4 of those to summon, fusion summon one dark fusion monster. We're going to go into Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. And this allows us to attack all opponent's monsters and burn for 2,000 damage, which is a lot. So more likely you can end game on this, not necessarily, but you can. I will do one more going first, and we'll see what that gives me. As I said, this deck is a very going second deck, unfortunately. There will be more support, and the new support is very helpful, especially with Frame, because Frame can search basically a lot of the new cards, because they list Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound as material, as in this text. Which is a good thing that they start giving us newer support that kind of does that. I wish it was just generic in general, but better than nothing. So, put these back real quick. 2 Howitzer, and then the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. And then the Ballista. Oh, that's Megaton. Put that back as well. Alrighty. We're going to be going first. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let us... I don't think I shuffled. Give me a moment. I'm going to shuffle real quick. If you guys have any questions or comments, put them down into comments. There we go. Yeah, real smooth. In the comments, and we'll move on to the next test hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see how we do. I pick up all my cards. It's okay. Definitely better than decent. Normal summon Hunting Hound. Burn your opponent for 6, because why not? And then we're going to go into summon the Express Bullet, since we control all Earth machines. Just for Extender. And we're going to link these two into Ballista. Ballista's going to place the field spell, or add our field spell, I should say. If I can find it. Terraforming. Now, sadly, we can't do much else due to the fact that Catapult requires us to have no monsters, which we do. And even if we overload Fuse, we won't necessarily clear the board. So, that's not great, but not terrible. I'm going to do one more just because the opening hand was kind of poopy. So, we'll do one more going first test hand. And if you guys want to see more about this, I can definitely do more. I could possibly even show some of the updated stuff if you like. But there will be a physical deck profile when the new one comes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still not great. As you can definitely see, this deck has a bit of consistency issues, even without some of the additional cards. Say we didn't have these 3, and we just ran more Ancient Gear names, we would still have just big, somewhat playability. Because now Ancient Gear Catapult's still a dead card. I'm going to try to get a hand that's playable, or is more than just Ballista Pass. This deck does normally play better. I'm just drawing terrible hands right now. Let me give this a good shuffle. Alright. I want to end this on a very sad, bad note, showing how bad this deck is. It's not a good deck. I will mention that now. It's not good. It's fun. It's very fun. With the new support, it gets a lot better, and you can do a lot more with it. Alright. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rest back on the deck. And then let's see here. This is better. This is a lot better. Okay. We're going to play Ancient Gear Fortress. Now, I do believe it still says the attacks of even this card is destroyed. No, it doesn't. So activate this, and we're going to activate Catapult. Catapult's going to just target the fortress, blow it up, and then we're going to summon 1 from deck. We're going to summon a Wyvern. And then Catapult Fortress will trigger, summoning, ignoring the summon conditions of the Ultimate Pound from hand, summon. And then Wyvern, allowing us to add. We will add Box effect, allowing us to add Frame. Add these 2. And then we can special summon Ancient Super Express Bullet Train to give us another free body. And then we will normal summon Frame. Frame effect, discarding the Magical Hound because it works in Grave as well. And we're going to add Ancient Gear Fusion. And we're going to link these 2 off for Ballista. Ballista effect going to add us a name. Add us Gear Town, placing the Gear Town for a bit of follow-up on the next turn. And then we're going to use the effect of Ancient Gear Fusion, using the Ultimate Pound we have, along with 1, 2, 3, to make a Megaton. Going into Ancient Gear Megaton Golem. Then that is an overall somewhat decent end board. We have a monster that can float into the big guy if needed. In addition to that, becomes another Ancient Gear Golem from Grave if need be. So, I do believe that's most of the combos for the deck. There's some train stuff I didn't necessarily see, but it's necessarily similar. If you've ever seen trains, you know how that functions. If not, it just makes big rank 10s that are annoying. But yeah, I do believe that is everything. This deck will improve. As you saw, it does not do well right now. It will improve. I know this video might not be great for everybody, but it definitely helps, especially showing off. This is a very favorite deck of mine. I picked these up when the Treasure decks came out a very long time ago. But yeah, hopefully that was somewhat informative. I know it wasn't the best, but hopefully it was somewhat informative. And until next time, I am the Cardman's Cards. This has been Ancient Gear. Sorry. This has been Ancient Gear. There we go. That's a better one to end on. This has been Ancient Gear. Keep collecting.